Another movie I saw recently was called "You Were Never Really Here." I think something like that. Anyways, and the main character was River, no, Joaquin Phoenix. I hadn't seen him in a while, and I do my movie reviews for Christians, so I'm always looking for things to recommend or talk about to fellow Christians. And I always encourage you to pray the movies. There's lots of things you can pray about while you're watching the movie or after. Um, and this movie, like another movie I recently saw, was about the topic of trafficking, human trafficking. And I mean, not a documentary. It's like a Hollywood movie, but they incorporate the issue of trafficking into it. In this case, the movie begins with this bearded, kind of flabby fellow. You think at first that he's a bad guy, you know, and that this is the actor, Phoenix, or Joaquin Phoenix, yeah. I always think River Phoenix, but it's Joaquin Phoenix, and I don't know what he's doing. They show him breathing in a bag, a child breathing in a bag, and counting. It's kind of weird. Like he was an abused child, and maybe tried to commit suicide as a child. I don't know. He had a troubled childhood, but he's an adult now, and so throughout the whole movie, he's having these flashbacks. Maybe he was a victim of trafficking as well. I don't know. But he lives in the house, a humble middle class or lower middle class house with his elderly mother. I'm not sure if it's because he doesn't have any alternative or because he's there to help her. She's kind of a invalid, she can get around a little bit in the house, inside the house, but apparently she needs some help with things. So he doesn't seem to have any other family members, no wife, um, no indication of any other family. And there's no indication of what he does for a living. And once he walks into a store, maybe you're thinking maybe he's a drug dealer. You don't really know what's going on for quite a while in the beginning of the movie. It's kind of a slow build up, and then one day he gets a call and he goes to an office and there's a guy there and he says, Senator Vado's daughter's been kidnapped. He wants your help. So that's the first clue as to what this guy does. At least one of the things he does. I mean, you might think he's homeless even because he looks so shabby, unkempt. But apparently, one thing he's good at is rescuing kidnapped people or victims of trafficking. So he goes over and meets with the senator, who says, he hires this guy to get his daughter back, and he says, "I want you to hurt them." So, so the so Phoenix, I'll just call him Phoenix. I guess his name in the movie was Joe. I think Joe. Joe or Phoenix, whichever. He goes out to a hardware store after the meeting with the senator, and the film is kind of like I don't know what you call it, maybe Hitchcock style. They have long, slow, still shots of certain things. Normally you wouldn't see that in the movie. Like, he goes to the store and there's a long still shot of a hammer, and he buys a hammer among other things and some duct tape. use the camera to really, give you clues. And next thing, he's driving around, and somehow he knows exactly where to go to find this missing girl. They've taken her to a house where adult men go to have, I guess, do things with these underage girls. At least the one thing wasn't clear is whether she was the only one or whether the rest in that place were adults. I don't know, but he only rescued her. So he goes in, he rescues the senator's daughter. I don't know what she's like, maybe 12 or 13 or something. I don't know, but he doesn't rescue anybody else. So he's like a mercenary. He's not like such a good guy that he's out there to try to help people and rescue people, but only if he's paid to do it, seems like. Unless there's no other underage persons in that house. I don't know. It's not clear. So anyways, he rescues the girl. Meanwhile, he uses the hammer to bludgeon several people in that trafficking house, and takes her out. She latches onto him, but suddenly he gets her to a hotel. He calls the guy he's supposed to call, and they turn on the TV, and they notice suddenly that the girl's dad, the senator, has committed suicide. Or, he supposedly jumped off the roof. Turns out they find out the governor of New York is involved in this trafficking ring, and he likes the senator's daughter. So he sent out his henchmen to get her back. So Joe Phoenix, suddenly is being pursued by the governor's cops. They come in police uniforms and shoot. They shoot somebody at the door, and blood spatters all over Joe's face. Now, I don't know who they shot by the door, though. That's the weird thing. They go in. One cop takes the girl. The other cop stays and gets ready to kill Joe. Joe attacks. And now, I think Joe might have been, like a veteran. Like maybe he was in Vietnam or something. Maybe he was a Navy SEAL or something, Green Beret or something. He seemed to have some of that, wisdom, how to take care of himself in those kind of situations. So he sends off the cop, and then he finds out, gets some more information. He goes back to the guy who originally hired him, not the senator, or at least the contact man. The contact man has been killed. Then he goes back to his house to see his mom, and he sneaks in because he's aware now that they're onto him. He sneaks into the house and he finds his mom dead in the bed. But the two guys, the two cops, are still in the house. He sneaks down the stairs and surprises them and kills one and shoots the other one's still alive, and he confesses. The weird thing, though, that Joe Phoenix reaches out and holds the guy's hand. I don't know. I didn't understand that, So anyways, he leaves the house, still going to try to get the girl back again. He knows where to go. He goes to the governor's mansion. And there he finds the governor has been killed as well. And he doesn't know who did it. But he hears something downstairs. He goes downstairs, and there's the girl eating dinner with blood all over her hands, so it was the girl who killed the governor. And then he takes the girl, and they go off, and that's about the end. And so it's kind of a strange movie, the way it's presented, and it's not your typical hero movie. But he does do some heroic things. But it leaves it ambiguous, maybe it's more like that every person is a mixture of good and bad, and that's what they want to, that's the message they want to leave with you. I don't know. Maybe, for Christians, the message would be, yes, we are. Despite we are sinners, we are also saints. We're called to be saints in the priesthood of all believers. And as Christians, we are sinners, but we're forgiven. And we'll sin again, but hopefully we continue to grow away from those sins of the flesh and things like that, and become more and more holy. It should be a quest, You should be striving to become a better person. Not to be saved by works, but I'm talking about your soul. Yes, there be acts of grace and acts of evangelism and things, and various fruit of the Spirit that you'll exhibit more and more as you grow. And our lives should not be just dreary. Even if you're a veteran, you can put that behind you. Even if you've grown up abused or poor, impoverished, or problems with employment, you can put that all behind you with Christ. And our lives can be joyful despite hardship. Or maybe I should say joyful because of hardship. The life without any hardship, the so-called millionaire's life, has everything they need, ultimately doesn't bring the real kind of joy that we have as Christians. That's just making life easy and comfortable, but it doesn't challenge us to grow. So be thankful sometimes for your problems and persecutions, and learn from that and grow from it. And also encourage Christians to pick up the cross and, be aware of the different issues that are happening in our society around us, like trafficking, human trafficking. It could be something that you could help prevent or at least report if you're aware of what's happening around you. Not just sex trafficking, but also labor trafficking, where people get manipulated into taking a job, especially like foreigners come to America, and then the person takes advantage of them, makes them work, abusive hours, real low wages, keeps them in fear because they think they'll be deported. So beware of that and try to help if you can. God be with you all and bless you.